Alright, and welcome back to the Gulthias tree. I think everyone's out of... Oh, then... everyone got put in the wrong squares when I switched over. That's great. But, real quick, synopsis of last session as I start moving people around. So they found what they were looking for in the Amber Temple. They also found Van Cushing in the Amber Temple. Um, they have coordinated with him and are preparing to leave. As they are leaving, he says to the group, "You go on ahead. Don't come back for me." And he turns back. This would be happening inside of the Amber Temple still, at the balcony heading out. So you all come up the stairs. He stops, kind of looks around like Obi-Wan or Darth Vader in the Death Star at the end of A New Hope style. And then he says, "I have something I have to deal with. Don't come back for me." And starts heading down the steps. All right, everybody's in the right squares. That said, as he's kind of walking down um, the steps, if you linger for a little while there, you see a green light appear to the left of the statue across the main long hall. It illuminates the entirety of the room. You can see kind of green shadows kind of etched out and around. Another flame ignites to the other side of the statue. And then a third one kind of appears like dead center over the room. Um, do you linger longer, or do you leave as he said?
Was that Van Cushing leaving this?
Correct.
Where's he going?
He's heading into the hall. Looks like he's heading towards the center of the main chamber.
You better not drink any of that honey.
I was gonna say, he didn't even help us fight those vampires. What? He was just chilling up there reading books. Son of a gun.
He did kill the barbarians.
Alright. That's fair.
Bless you.
I'll follow Van Cushing into the hall.
He turns and he looks at you. "No. Go. I do not need your assistance, nor is it welcome." And he starts walking around the way. As you're kind of stepping down the steps, you see that a figure has entered into the room. It looks like they entered from an unknown position on the southern side of the main hall. The double doors that you never entered into. This individual is wearing kind of simple brigandine and kind of rider's pants with rider's boots up to just above the knee. He is kind of pale in flesh. And the picture I was using from before, I haven't actually updated him because kind of a bit part. But we'll go ahead and use the old handout I had. 1 second here. He has dark brown hair, or dark kind of black hair, pale skin, pale eyes. He's wielding a scimitar. It looks like he does have it drawn out. Over his brigandine, he is wearing very ornate clothing. His cape kind of drags behind him on the stone. And as he kind of walks out a bit, he's looking up at the steps, just quietly walking towards the center of the hall. And Van Cushing has his hand on his cane. And instead of walking with his cane like he has been doing up until this point, he now walks confidently with his hand on the cane, and seems to walk with more of a warrior stride.
Oh man, I want to watch this. This is bullshit. um, I'll just lean in and just let him know that someone else here has drinking the honey that we don't know about.
I do not think it was him,
Just-
but
Just to let him know that something might happen.
if so, I'll be prepared. Please.
I'll be.
You head back up the way, and as you're doing so, Van Cushing kind of walks into the area. You see the elvish gentleman kind of look up at him curiously, and Van Cushing says, "Rathwin, so, have you come to protect the book, or take it of your own?" "Protect it. If you think that letting them go is going to matter, I'll be upon them like a wolf on a sheep in seconds after I'm done with you." Van Cushing grins. No, you won't. You won't leave this temple ever again. Even if I die. Wrathwing kind of grins and raises his sword. As he does so, you can see like the green light that's kind of illuminated this place. Around him it starts to kind of swell, and you can see in the mists that are kind of lingering around him that there are faces. All of them female, and all of them elves. And looks like it's kind of a swirl of these ghosts about 15 feet wide around him. Van Cushing kind of grips the sword, and you see him reach into his coat and brandish out holy symbol of Batavius. Do you wait longer, or do you skedaddle? He has told you to go. Hmm?
He had told me to go, so I'll
He
go.
did tell us to go.
You're in the Amber Temple. You are basically on the balcony. When you entered in the first time, remember, from the snowy mountain, you entered in, you were on a balcony, and there were a couple of options, but there were also the stairs that lead down. He's gone down the steps and is standing in the main central hall at the foot of the big statue that the demon was inside of.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like he's facing off with this strange elf gentleman named Rathaween.
This green smoke with the faces of other elven-like creatures in it.
Elven women, specifically.
Elven women.
Yeah. And if you all want to go ahead and make a history check, it was a while ago, and it was subtly mentioned, but it was mentioned, and I think everyone heard something regarding this.
I can't remember if it was the Fox or Cardiff, but they had a smoke with skulls in it.
Stephanie, 19 is good enough. You remember that, possibly in the story too, in the book, Strahd's betrothed was killed by Dusk Elves, which are native to the Bitterheart Vale, and basically as recompensance to them murdering his bride-to-be, he killed all women of the Dusk Elf tribes here in the Bitterheart Vale, so only males are present. Basically destroying their lineage until the long-lived elves die.
I want to wait.
Okay. Anybody else counter to Hero's decision?
Nah.
Okay. So
Wait.
what you witness is the two engage. Van Cushing draws his blade, and they lock blades very suddenly. You watch then a dazzling mastercraft of blade strikes, and then them backing away from each other. Hero, you immediately recognize that Rathaween is better than Van Cushing and superior to you in all ways. As he basically maneuvers with this blade, it seems that he is very deftly striking into Van Cushing's guard, which is competent enough, but not superior to this individual's. You then watch as the strange aura kind of comes out from him and keeps growing out further, and Van Cushing kind of grips the cross tighter. As it begins to open outwards, some of the spirits kind of etch out from this bubble that's basically forming around him and kind of swoop past you, and you hear the screams, like the death screams of these elvish maids. I'd like for all of you to go ahead and make a wisdom saving throw.
Oh wait, okay. Oh no,
Oh, one.
Who am I missing?
me. I couldn't pick my token, so I just gotta roll it.
Yeah, you don't need to pick your token on this one. It's not an initiative roll.
Where is my wisdom?
Wisdom saving throw, left side. It
Oh.
should say saves in a box
Saving
next to your.
throw.
Yeah. Okay.
Gotcha.
So,
Oh, I clicked the wrong one.
Aveline, the terror of this screaming, not so scary on its own, but as the screams enter your mind, you start to see flashes of the voice closest to you's death. You watch as Rathaleen basically steps over her in this flash moment and just lances his scimitar through her chest. She's still alive as the blade comes out, and he looks down at her and says, "The curse of your father leads to your demise. You'll never live again." And you then watch another scene very similar to that, another woman's point of view as they are being murdered. To everyone else, what you're witnessing is Aveline is locked in terror, just staring off into the distance. She doesn't look like she's moving. She is statistically paralyzed. Hero, you are fine. This doesn't seem to be affecting you. It's just screaming. Maids, Elizabeth, Sen is terrified, but not to the degree that Aveline is. You are frightened. You do not want to go closer to that. You want to get out of here. But statistically, frightened just means that all ability checks and attacks that you make, well, that's in your view, you're going to make a disadvantage, and you cannot move closer to that willingly. And then David, Nodder is in the same boat as Sen. You are not paralyzed with fear, but it's pretty bad.
I say we hightail it out of here, guys. Boy, smelly.
Okay, we can go.
Yeah, I don't like this.
Okay. As you're kind of turning to leave, Hero, you kind of look back at the scene. You watch as Rathaleen kind of deftly moves and grabs a hold of Van Cushing's weapon in his hand and kind of brings the scimitar up and looks like he's going to just straight draw it into Van Cushing. Van Cushing releases his saber, his cane sword, and then kind of shoulder checks Rathaleen, and then you see the knife pop out of the back of the cane scabbard, and he brings it in and stabs the guy in the chest. It doesn't seem to phase him, but the force of the shoulder and the hit kind of caused him to stagger backwards. He flutters the blade up and comes in again with another kind of vicious, and Van Cushing seems to be blocking on his kind of like last leg there. You all start to dip, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We gon' head out.
All right. The rush of snow kind of blasting you in the face as you kind of step out into it. You kind of, a breath of fresh air. You've been kind of locked inside of a stale temple for some time. The bird that brought you here, you see it kind of laying off to the side, kind of sprawled out dead. But it looks like there's about 12 of the barbarians that it initially kind of grabbed and devoured, kind of laying dead in all states of devoured, ripped apart and shredded, or broken across the rocks. So it looks like a lot of them came to fight the rock. Saphira kind of teardrop, not happy having seen that. But the shield guardian behind you has been commanded to follow Aveline, trundling with I believe a bunch of stuff and a chariot attached to their back. Yeah.
Wait, did we take the chariot?
I don't know, did
Yes.
you take the chariot or no?
Do you want honey mustard
Why?
for 12 tenders?
Chariot. Yay or nay?
Chariot.
I don't remember taking it.
I don't either. I just have that we got all of the gold, silver, copper,
Okay.
gemstones.
Fair enough. It's
skull,
packed onto the shield guardian.
jewelry.
The shield guardian and you all start to head down into the path and make your way down. It comes to a point where the path forks. You know the correct method is to engage in a switchback. It looks like the path that leads southwards is filled with smoke and mists, and you can see figures kind of lingering around there in the mists, but you can't really discern them, as it was the case when you were on the eastern or the western border of this area. So you continue downwards. I'd like for a representative of your party to go ahead and just give me 2 20-sided dice rolls for random encounters.
Never.
Want me to do it?
Sure.
Do it.
There's a 4 and an 8.
So you are very fortunate. Not a lot happens on the descent down. You do make it to the Solenk Pass Bridge. You would know that if you were to meander along the riverway northwards, you might be able to reconvene with the road up near the windmill. Or you can cross the bridge again. You know that would require you to bypass the green fire, and then kind of make your way on the road. Or you can travel into the wilds northwards. Which of those 2 options would you like?
I definitely don't want to go and try and figure out the fire again.
Do not want to?
No.
Well, I mean, you have the solution. It just costs a spell slot and some innovation. It won't be too terribly hard. But, again, you could just... It'll be a more direct path if you follow the riverway.
Yeah, that's true. We can just take the river.
Okay. All right. If that's the case, I'm going to... Let's see. I'm going to ask you if you intend on crossing and kind of moving along the western side of the river to try and get to the King's Road near Valak, or if you're just going to just go across the hills and the dales and make your way towards the Bone Grinder. You should be able to see the map and what I'm saying here. And up on the mountain, you would have been able to kind of see the landscape to kind of plot this out, so that works too.
I'd
So,
go for Valak. Maybe we could resupply a little bit.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Mhm.
All right. So for crossing the bridge, I gotta look up a thing. All right. So as you cross the waterway at a point that's pretty narrow and seems to have a number of stones that kind of make crossing a bit easier. To the north of you, you can see what looks like a small village, but it looks like it's pretty much in ruin. There are a couple of scarecrows kind of standing up near some of the buildings, and there's obviously a certain kind of gray nature to the entirety of the place. It just seems so melancholy, and everything seems to kind of be rattling in the wind against old wooden frame. The scarecrows especially have a very strange kind of look to them. Looks like there's a hangman's noose around their necks, like a bow tie almost, and their heads are basically just sackcloths that have been pulled down, and then the neck tie tightening kind of makes them look like plumped, just weird looking. The other thing you notice from this position too is just south of you, at the forest way, there appears to be a house in the mists, but from what you can tell, the house doesn't seem to be built there. It seems to be standing there on 2 massive legs that look like they are chicken legs. It's a good distance away, but you can make out the silhouette of this walking cottage. But yeah, the village itself looks kind of creepy. Do you want to circumnavigate the creepy house or creepy town, or do you want to enter in and explore?
I think we gotta head towards that house.
Oh,
Just want to say hi to Baba Yaga.
Exactly.
I got 2 votes for stupidly move towards the chicken house.
Hey.
Chicken house.
Foreshadowing.
I'm down for the chicken house.
Alright, that's 3 for chicken house. Okay, so if you start to approach the house in question, yeah, as I mentioned, it does appear to be kind of standing up on its gigantic legs. It squats down as you approach. And then you watch as the front door opens. A maid, probably no more than 20 or so years, steps out. She seems to be wreathed in the flowers and blossoms of the meadows. She's wearing a gown that is elvish in make and seems to have a very natural kind of look to it as well. And as she sees you approaching, she says, "Oh dear, are you... Did you come down from the mountain?"
Yes.
"I was hoping to intercept you at the bridge. How fortunate that you've come this way instead." You also notice that the house is covered with ravens once you've gotten up to it.
Ravens are friends.
You come to intercept us and share some wine?
No, no, I know what you carry. I wasn't planning on inviting you in at all. No, no, you've got more pressing matters. I was simply hoping to make a bargain with you.
A bargain.
You want to make that bargain,
Well-
Nodder?
Me?
You wouldn't
Yeah,
have
Nodder,
come
go
here in
for
the
it.
first place.
Sure.
She smiles and says, "Well, yes. A bargain. I have something I would like you to do, and well, if you were to do it, then well, it would be very beneficial for both of us. You see, I have this," and she pulls out a steak, a wooden steak, not like a meat steak. It appears to be made.
Steak.
It appears to be made out of very alive wood, like not too dissimilar from the Gulthias tree steak that you had before. And she says, "I think I understand what your plan is. If you were to do it with this, I would be most grateful."
Why?
Yeah.
Well, because it would be very, very helpful to me. And yes, it would also be helpful to, you know, the mother of dreams. Every time she kind of stops and kind of like has that weird kind of glitch in her voice, you can kind of see features on the left side of her face kind of distorting and becoming more elderly and like wrinkled, and almost skeletal when she does that.
You look very uncomfortable. Why don't you take a more comfortable form?
Hold on, I gotta get this cat out of here.
Naughty cat.
Is
That's
that-
a big old naughty.
He's getting pretty swell in the chest. Uh,
Oh,
I do not have clerics. You can see that Saphira is kind of in the back lanes, but she does give kind of a "we should go" kind of whisper.
I'm cool eating.
yeah, I'm a little.
Okay, well, no problem. If not, that's fine too. Everyone make a perception check.
Oh man.
One maid isn't gonna for this campaign.
Dang it, Sen, you got it. Was it
Just
23?
up that perception.
Yeah, well, good choice, because had you not, that would not have succeeded. So everyone else seems to be kind of unaware, and you're kind of probably towards the back anyway, but you notice that as you all kind of turn around, she takes the one and kind of moves it to her side, like she was kind of feeding something to a dog, and you see out of the folds of her cloaks, a disembodied hand, drop from her cloaks, grab a hold of the U-wand, and start running on like fingers across the ground, heading towards whoever the closest is. I presume Nodder.
Probably me. Yeah.
Do you watch to see what happens with it, or do you try to stop it?
probably try and stop it, or at least point out.
Do you say, "Oh hey"?
Man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, if you say, "Oh hey," in the time that everyone's kind of reacting, you see the hand very stealthily move onto the big bear, and then just drop the stake into his bag, and then leap like 10 feet away and kind of just hit the grass, and kind of everyone then sees it. They're like, you do not see it go into your bag. You just see it kind of leap from somewhere and land a distance away from you.
Mm.
What was that? What was that?
Looked like a thing.
But Sen, you do know that the stake
Yeah.
has been placed in the bag.
Mm-hmm.
So if
so
it's fine. I was going to grant you gifts besides stuff that but no, it's all right. Feel free, continue on. Bye. She starts walking back into her house like she thinks she got away with it.
Yeah. Let's start walking away, and then
Okay.
I grab the
The door
stick.
closes,
Did she
and
throw something at me?
the house starts to walk kind of in your direction, but you see that it's kind of moving away from you and more towards the town.
Yeah. So I'm gonna take the stick and throw it at the house or towards the house.
You don't want to just throw it in the water?
Yeah, it's probably better, honestly.
Okay.
I
Splash.
forgot how close we're.
Right on the river. All right. Now, as you're kind of doing that and meandering away, the house moves a lot faster than you. It's got like Tyrannosaurus-sized chicken legs,
Yeah.
and it just kind of trundles on over to the town, and then just kind of parks in the center of town. Based on the windows, everywhere you were to go, if you were to go into that town, would be something that the entity, whose name you didn't catch, would have. She would have sight on you. So, do you want to move around the town or go into the town and investigate it?
Creepy town, but
I want to go in.
yeah, I kind of want. I still want
Okay.
a potion.
Do you want to do so stealthily? Or do you want to just walk in there like you own the place, even though she will be able to see you from her creepy hut?
If you're
I
gonna
was
do
planning on-
something, do it with confidence.
Yeah, I was planning on
Yeah.
just going in there normally.
Okay. As you kind of
Like nothing happened.
move out that way, the door opens up, and you can see that she has disrobed. She is holding kind of a cloak over herself, almost like a bathing towel, and she looks out to you and she says, "Go away, perverts!
Excuse you.
Okay.
You're the one intruding in my place." And as she says that, you can see the scarecrows kind of like moving their arms down and kind of jumping down off of their posts. Please leave.
It's not like we want to look at you anyway.
We just wanted to check out the
This
town.
is my home.
Sorry.
Be gone.
Bye.
We weren't trying to go into her house.
You think she means that the town is hers,
Oh,
Yeah.
so she came out half naked to see us.
and
Yeah.
tell you to stop coming into her town. Yeah.
Yeah.
It almost looks like she was getting ready for a bath.
I don't even know what she looks like.
Good for her.
Do you want to stop? She didn't. Yeah, she didn't change appearance.
But stop and watch. What?
Do you want to
No.
stop? No. Do you want to stop, back off, and then move in at a more stealthy venture, or do you want to? Because she still seems irritated, and her scarecrows are focused now. They're no longer just sitting. Do you want to try and re-enter the town, even though you've been told not to? Or again, do you want to circumnavigate? You'd think if you're going to re-enter the town, though, at this point, if you try to do the we own this place, she's going to probably interact with you in some way.
I mean, how big is this town?
Not very big. There's like 4 buildings besides the one with chicken legs, and there's like 3 others that are broken down and rubbled pretty much. It looks like the 3 buildings that were rubbled look like they were like barns. One of the buildings that remains is like a silo, and then the other 3 buildings appear to be residences.
Oh, let's just walk through the town and leave. I say.
Okay. Do you want to try and keep an eye on the hut and like, just in case?
Uh, just to make sure it's not like trying to
Okay.
follow us.
Well, with your super perception set, I'm not even going to make you roll. Just going to say that you're focused and laser sharp watching. You watch as the individual inside disrobes and moves towards the bath and
Wow, what a weirdo, son.
enters into it. For this vantage point, you can tell that the bathtub, you can't tell what it's filled with, but it does look like it's a clawfoot tub. Very, very ornate, very nice. And as she kind of slips into it and starts kind of pulling the fluid up to her face and putting it on her pale flesh, it's very stark contrast because it appears she's bathing in blood.
Delicious.
Sick.
And you go, right? You're leaving?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Just. Well, that's enough for today.
Yeah, here is what she would have looked like if I was still using old stuff. Again, it will be better updated one day. Did that pop?
Nope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Again, using other people's art, not doing it anymore because we're serious about D&D. All right, so yeah, moving on along. Give me another 2 20-sided dice rolls to see if you make it to the bridge.
I can do that. 2. 2.
Okay, so no problems. You make it to the bridge, and you're within walking distance of Volok. Do you want to enter Volok through its main entryways or the secret passageway that you're familiar with?
I thought that was on the other side.
The passageway goes through.
What was that?
Passage.
All right.
Go visit our old friends.
You enter into the
Great.
passage. You enter into the basement of the location. There is a strangeness to the room as you enter into it. You notice that it looks like it's been turned over. Looks like someone very brutishly kind of turned everything over, broke barrels. The contents of the beer barrels that were present down here seem to have stained the stone. There is a bit of daylight, as it's about probably mid-afternoon at this point, as you've traveled from for several hours across the Bitter Heart. But yeah, it looks like there's a bit of sunlight coming from up above, like the door is left open.
We better go check on our friends.
Exactly.
Friends.
Yep. I peek out, see if anyone's trying to scope out the exit.
Yeah.
Okay. So you check out the door. What you would witness in here is it looks like the windows have been boarded up, and it looks like the door and boarded up from the outside, not the inside. Sorry. It looks like the door's probably got the similar treatment. On one wall, you can see your friend, the friendly bartender, is impaled with a spear, and is basically just hanging there. Looks like he's been dead for at most a couple of days or a day.
Can we get in there and try and investigate what happened? Like tear the planks off the windows.
So it looks like the strike that killed him and lanced him to the wall was very sudden. As I mentioned, the planks look like they're on the outside of windows, so you'd have to break the windows and then push outwards. The door looks like it's also been boarded shut from the outside. There's no real visual nature on the exterior of the building, at least from this floor. You would note that there is a staircase that does lead up to the upstairs, if you wanted to go and try and check from up there.
I'll go up. I'll look.
Okay. So, the windows are not barred and blockaded up here. Are you doing so stealthily, or are you just kind of walking up and looking out the window?
I'm good. Yeah.
Go ahead and make a stealth check.
Just stealthy for me is slam everything around.
Using your advantage, because no one's really looking up that way, you kind of bear creep over to the window and kind of look outside. And what you see from this vantage point is you can kind of see down the lane where they had the people who were not happy, like shackled up. They have more of those stocks, and it looks like more people are present in them. You also notice not too far from them they've set up a gallows, and it looks like there's about 5 people currently swinging from them. The individual you met in the bar with the big arm is kind of hanging around. You would also note that there's a horse that is ignited aflame in the places where there should be mane hair, and standing next to it is Gulthias. It looks like he has a literal army alongside him as they are watching the one of the 5 bodies hanging from the ropes kind of go slack.
Oh, I'm gonna go and let everybody know what's happening right now.
Okay.
Did you recognize any of those people?
One vampire.
You would note that the person that they were waiting to kind of fall still was one of the individuals that was talking with Van Cushing when he was in this town, and you met him at the markets, or at the markets. There was that one guy who kind of talked to him and kind of broke up your conversation when you were talking to him behind the box.
So what do you guys want to do?
As the bear is basically explaining that and mentions it to you, you hear a loud booming voice. Citizens of Volok, if you find the bear, the serpent, the renegade doll, or the outsider, kill them and return me my book. And then you hear a whoosh as he fucks off.
Well, talk about a welcome.
Bad time.
The bear, the serpent, the renegade doll, and the outsider.
Who's the outsider?
The thing you hear from the back line again is, oh, he didn't mention me. Saphira says.
I was gonna say there's two descriptions missing.
Unless I'm the outsider. Are you the outsider?
Who's that?
Downstairs,
You?
downstairs, you're like, we left the shield. We left the
Turns
shield
into
guardian down.
Saphira.
We left the shield guardian downstairs. We're both the outsider now.
Oh.
Well, obviously it's Copper.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. It's him.
He's the
It's
outsider.
fine. Sorry, Copper.
The shield guardian remained downstairs. Obviously, did not come upstairs. You're pretty sure that he would have gone right through the wooden steps that lead up out of the basement.
He's just chilling, poor guy.
And we should probably go check on our other friends. Shit.
So, at this point, if you leave Volok, you can either exit to the western side and head towards Van Cushing's tower, where you know the brother and sister and possibly Elza are currently. Or you can exit out its eastern side, make for the Old King's Road, and rush towards Strafania to bring aid to Alenia.
Oh, that's actually a really good idea.
Which was the plan initially anyways, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what you were wanting to do.
Yeah. Should
Well,
probably go get Alenia and Saphira's companion.
Well, yeah, Saphira's companion did head that way. If she made it, then yeah, good deal.
Yeah, if we can find her, if she survived. Hopefully she survived. I don't know.
Okay. So if that's the case, go ahead and give me 3d20 rolls if you're making your way through the woods and, well, making your way along the road and heading past Sears Pool to Strafania.
More than 2?
Okay. Roll a d100.
Oh, well, a D100.
Oh, oh no.
Okay. So as you're making your way along, you would note that you kind of come to the gates outside of Castle Torinor. basically where the road breaches, where you continue south. And just outside of the gates, kind of laid out all about, are a bunch of dead bitter hearts. They look like they have been slashed apart and kind of rended asunder. Looking at them, it does look like this is the same group that was traveling with the madam of the bitter hearts, and went west. But for some reason, it looks like they've turned back, and it looks like they were brutally murdered here by some unknown force. It doesn't look like there are any bodies of whoever they were fighting, but that does look like there is the signs of a scuffle. A skirmish, rather.
Things are going elsewhere.
They're going for a friends.
Inspect some of the bodies. See if there's anything I can find about who may have been fighting them.
Sure. Go ahead and make an investigation check.
He's so soft.
There we are.
Kill that cat.
3.
The only thing that you're kind of able to detect in your investigation here is it was one person. And they did it with a sweeping sword like a scimitar. They've been dead for the better part of 3 days.
I guess I have to take their money then.
Yeah. The last time, it probably happened maybe half a day after the last time you passed through these gates. But yeah, they do seem to have all of their coin and currency on them. If you do start pilfering, it takes you the better part of 30 minutes to get everything. But you're walking out of here with about 75 gold, 18 silver, and there's 1 platinum piece.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks, but the dead can't use it, guys. So.
Oh my god, Michael.
Their armaments,
What it is.
their armaments don't look like they're worth anything. They're short swords mainly.
It's not an insult to say that a dead man is dead.
It's just a statement of.
Reference anyone?
I don't know.
From Troy.
Oh, yeah.
I have to live with him making this reference almost every day.
It's a great reference. It's
So-
a great quote.
At this point, as you're kind of making your way there, you didn't see where Gulthias went when he rode off. But what you do note is at this kind of vantage point as you're moving south down the hill, before you kind of make it beyond the hill, you do see that there is a flaming comet descending down on Castle Tornor. It looks like the Count is going home to roost. But yeah, the next part of the trip is uneventful. You make it to Strafania with little issue. It does look like the town is as it was. Dolls walking about. It doesn't look like as many people walking about. It's mainly just the undaunted. It looks like most folks have now, like there were some people who were doing it before, but now it's pretty much everyone has barred and locked their doors to keep themselves safe inside of their homes. The church resides on the northern side of the town, and I assume that's where you're heading.
Mm-hmm.
All right. When you arrive, you enter inside. You can see that Alenia is a bit more life. It looks like she has, in the last few days, not eaten much. You can just kind of tell there's a pallor to her. But she's in the midst of her prayers as you enter in, and she seems to be holding a familiar relic in her hands.
Yay.
And as she sees you enter in, her prayer stops, and her eyes kind of widen, and she says, "I got your message," as she raises up the femur. How did your trip up north go? Or down south go? My brain didn't work.
Eventful.
Did you find it?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
And
Oh, good. Well, we must leave at once. I feel like we can do this. We can storm the castle. We can bring an end to him. you're ready.
Is there anywhere that we are going to be able to potentially try to get some supplies before doing this?
The
I don't know
town's
if everyone's pretty much locked down now, but
still functioning. I'm sure they're willing to sell you things. It may be an odd exchange through a door, but I'm sure it'll work. It's been made known to me through your friend, and she gestures to Katria, that the town was addressed by Gulthias this morning, earlier today, regarding a bear, a serpent, a renegade doll, and an outsider that have taken his book. And when I heard this news, I assumed it meant you were successful in acquiring his journal. Well, great. What did it say? What did it say?
It's a good question.
It told the story of his youth, but also mentioned that a sword of sunlight can be used.
oh yeah, that's that. I was about to say, I know that we have the handout.
Do we have the sword?
We do have a sword.
Yep.
Where did you find it? You
We
explain.
found it in the.
Oh, go ahead.
I can't remember what that guy's name. What he was a.
The abbot.
The abbot. The
Yeah.
abbot's castle.
Mm-hmm. That is correct. He says, very good. Or she says, very good. Well, great. Well, we should make our way. The only passageway I know of is an entry through the front. As she's kind of saying this, you can see that Katria kind of circles around to Saphira and starts talking to her to the side. They kind of have a heartfelt nod, and Katria heads back outside into the town. Saphira kind of, if asked about what happened there, Katria said that because she is a bitter heart, even though she is heartless, she would not be able to accompany you into the castle because her presence would always be known while she's inside of the castle. And since hiding is the thing that she does best, not only is she not willing to do that,
Yeah.
she's so not willing to do that.
Before we go down this path, like, one of us should buy some supplies.
Yeah, if you want to
Some
go,
of us can buy some supplies, but
if you want to go buy supplies, anything that's in the player's handbook sells for the amount in the player's handbook. So if you're searching for non-magical things, yeah, that's absolutely fine.
Would also suggest that maybe Sin does this in a different form, perhaps, just to be careful.
I could maybe go with them too, just because there's many
You
dolls
are-
walking around.
I mean, that's like the most conspicuous thing out of all of us, other than the bear.
Not in a town full of dolls.
No, there's a bunch of them in this town.
Oh, there's still a bunch of dolls. Okay,
Yeah,
I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, this is the town where you first saw one besides her.
I just didn't know if they were still like all throughout.
Yeah,
the-
they're the only ones that are really wandering. Yeah, it seems like
oh, okay.
most people are having their servants do their tasks for them instead of doing them themselves.
So, what did y'all want?
I mean, the only thing I
Okay,
can
so
think of for
healing.
sure is just healing stuff. I feel like weapons-wise, we're not going to have much good to gain other than what we already have.
Rations, healing potions.
Okay.
Hey, John, how can I access the player's handbook from this
Yeah,
app?
I have the. Hold on, I'll put it in the Discord.
if you click on items in the compendium in Roll20, you
Oh.
should be able to filter results based on player's handbook. But yeah, the D&D Beyond link also works.
Yeah, that's just what I've always done.
Yeah, and then basically, if you sort it by player's handbook, it should be a bunch of mundane stuff. It really will just be mundane stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I'm assuming I won't get any better armor or anything from this. So,
Oh wow, you can't apply filters to items. That's lame. No, yeah, no magic items are present.
Yeah.
That means no
So-
potions of healing. It's literally just going to be
Whoa.
ropes, food,
Healer's
crampons.
We can
Gotcha,
get another
gotcha.
healer's kit, but I already have one.
climbing gear. Crampons would be something you could find.
Are crampons like, hey, I have to go get my food?
They're like,
Have to be like a cut-off joke, but you know.
It's always where the joke was going, though.
fair enough. But if there's
Are they anything like something else that sounds like crampons?
no, they're not like croutons.
What a guy.
Oh my god. Okay, so no healing potions, but we could get healer's kit, which I already
Maybe we should go
have.
back to the Baba Yaga and do the deal.
I threw it in the river.
Okay. Probably a worse deal than the Fox game.
Yeah, if there's any mundane stuff that you want to buy, that's fine.
We could buy some rations.
True.
But
Food.
that's it.
Food is important.
Yeah. Well, Alenia needs some anyways, so go buy some rations.
Okay. Yeah, just if you want to just throw down some coin again, the purchase price is probably better seen in the D&D Beyond deal.
Yeah.
Hey,
Let me
Mittens.
bring that up.
You know, pop up here while we're waiting.
So 5 silver pieces for 1 day. How many rations do we want?
Yeah,
How
a
many
gold
days?
for 2 days. If you just buy like 30, that's what, 15 gold, and then just throw them onto the Shield Guardian, the Nodwick of the group.
Well, we have a
big
lot of
suitcase.
silver, so.
Oh, right. You could just get rid of the silver.
We currently have
A lot of silver.
14,523 pieces of silver, so I think we should get rid of some of that.
Yep. So party treasure it up. Transform silver into food.
Bippity boppity boo, we got some food, bitches.
The
So minus 75 gold.
Oh, do they have
Or
throwing
silver.
axes?
they
Huh?
do have hand axes, yeah. If you wanted to pick up some hand axes.
They got some battle axe, they got some great axe, they got some hand axe.
I'll take some hand axe. And
They'll have
if I'm
like
at range, I'll just.
for most normal martial weapons, they'll probably have at least one copy of them, probably not much more. But for simple weapons like daggers, hand axes, and stuff like that, they probably have a dozen or more in town to buy. More than you'd need. They don't have unlimited resources here, so if you're like, I want to buy all of the arrows, even though you don't need them because you shoot bolts that are magic, they wouldn't have like infinite supply.
Yeah.
I'm just too lazy to come up with an actual number. I'll be
Okay.
realistic if you start saying I want to buy X.
20!
The secret of dungeon mastering.
Did we already buy stuff?
Make shit
Well,
up.
we bought
Amazing.
30 day supply of rations.
300 potions?
There's
No
no
potion.
potions.
There's no potions. They're magic.
No potions.
Oh, there's no magic. Dang it. I forgot
magic,
potions are magic,
sorry.
technically.
Yeah.
No magic here.
Are there any kinds of healing things, or are they all going to be like...
It's going to be your party. Saphira has heals.
Yeah.
And
I have a healing kit.
Aveline has heals. There's healing, but it's not potion variety. You won't be able to do it to yourself. That said, if your gear is quite, and Nalenia, the cleric, will be joining you as well, with the femur. So, yeah, we got a group. That said, Are you going to just walk back down the road and then at the fork go up right up to the castle, or are you going to try and go a different route?
The smart money's on different route.
Yeah.
Let's say I
But
think we can
I
definitely
wanna
Maybe
walk
like
straight at
around
it.
this little, like, see where the bridge is, and then where this little hill is.
Yeah,
We
those.
could go like under.
Yeah, the cliffs are pretty high, so
I'm like, it's right there. We can go right to it.
yeah, you can see it. It's just climbing the cliffs and moving through the forests might be troublesome.
Well, we could take this little like low one and then climb the cliffs.
Sure. Yeah, if you want to go around a back way, that's fine too. But you did take some time purchasing some gear. I wanted to take that into account. And you did spend some time. Okay, cool. Great. Then you would hear outside of the church, as you're all kind of getting ready, the sounds of horse hooves. Sounds like more than one. And the sound of a carriage being pulled behind it. And
I hope that's our friend.
yeah. If you all kind of look outside, you'll see a jet black carriage, windowless, kind of being pulled by 4 massive black stallions with kind of reddish eyes as they kind of move around, breathing out mist into the mists. You see the rider. Up top is a figure in a cloak, hood drawn over. He looks over to you and he says, Alenia de Sir. To whoever the first person is, it sounds like he's asking if that's you. Alenia at the back of the group says, just say it's you. Just
Yeah.
please climb aboard, and throws a what appears to be an envelope towards you. Kind of floats over to you, kind of lands at the ground next or at your feet. Do you pick it up?
Yeah.
Opening it, looking inside, there's a small letter, and it says, Alenia de Alcir, I invite you to my castle. Let us be done with this. You can linger here for as long as you wish. The more you refuse, the worse your death will be. Please, let's end this cordially. Signed, Gulthias. And at the bottom it says, basically, you and whoever you wish have invitation to the castle.
I guess we go.
Climb aboard, Lady D'Alcir. Yep, that's me.
Yeah. Oh, great. That's
The
definitely.
as he kind of
Sin.
does the Disney sweep and kind of gestures towards the carriage behind him, the door magically opens up with a bit of a sparkling.
Princess
Just hold on for a second. Let's just.
glances back at team. We can go to the castle.
Do you
This
accept?
is a bad.
Guys, this is perfect.
Wait,
it's
this
a
is a
straight line into the castle.
Right, this is maybe not the best way to get into the
You don't think
castle.
he'll be mad that someone who's not Elenia will show up?
Well, he's already looking for
Oh
you.
no.
So maybe
We
it'll
all
be helpful.
going. But we going anyways, so
So
we
we're
might
going
as
the most
well
obvious
get a
way?
ride.
So we're just
He's
gonna
gonna
go
know
right
we're
up.
coming either way.
If you decide to do that, that's fine. But I am going to take the longer way by myself. I'm not gonna go that way. I'm pretty sure Nodder would agree, being another like warrior. Like,
But no, I'm for it. I was the guy that walked straight at him.
well, I will not.
Who's climbing aboard the wagon?
Well, this is team chat.
I'll
right
do
now.
it. I'll climb
Guess
with him.
we're going.
Okay.
Seems like a real bad idea.
Sin's going.
Who else is
Get back out of it now.
going
No,
aboard.
I mean we can. Are we?
What?
Anybody?
We can, but are we?
I mean,
Okay, but you remember
are we gonna-
that vampires are all about like formalities too, so like can't just like not accept it.
If
I'm all
anything,
about not
he's
being at a
going to offer us
disadvantage.
some wine before he kills us.
I mean, that'd be nice. At least there's that.
I, for one, am not going into this with the expectation of dying, so.
Oh, Sin just always, like, out of context, Sin just automatically always thinks they're gonna die.
So are we going on board the carriage, or are we ignoring it and moving a different route?
I said I'm climbing the cliffs if everyone else is. I'll be late.
Hopefully you're done with tea and crumpets and then get to the fucking killing when I'm there.
I'll just make sure to finish him off after I get to all your guys' dead bodies from his obvious trap.
Jeez.
Anyone?
His trap is obvious.
Fine, I'll go. I'll go with you, lizard man.
Nodder?
Wow.
Hey, I'm not arguing. Like, go, you do it. Like, we can sort that.
Okay.
It's not advisable, but it's
It's
thing we're allowed to do.
It's a possibility. Splitting the party never got anybody in trouble.
True.
Nah, it won't get me in trouble.
I'll be fine.
Famous last words.
Hanging out in the mist, just haunted by my sins of the past. you guys do your thing.
So we're not going?
I mean, Sin, do you really want to go on the carriage?
I mean, not really, but he asked, and I've never ridden in a carriage.
As you're kind of lingering there, the door opens. The door has been open for a while. A woman's hand kind of comes out and takes hold of the door, and out from there comes a woman you've never seen before. Very pale skin, black hair, kind of wavy, shoulder length, and her eyes are kind of blood red. She kind of speaks with a bit of a smile, and her smile kind of denotes that she has pretty prominent canines or fangs. And she says, "Are you coming late? Oh, oh, you're the bear, the serpent, the renegade doll, and the outsider." She says as she looks to Saphira. She does not look to Sen when she says outsider.
Not me.
How strange. Well, are you coming with the lady priest or what? Where is Elenia? You don't match the descriptions at all. Well, Ryder, I don't think this is right. Let's go. And kind of bangs on the roof. The door magically closes, and she goes to yeah, they leave.
Great. Made that decision for me.
All right. Immediately after that happens, what do you all do?
I look at Eleni and say, "This is your fault. You told me to say it was me."
Wasn't gonna say it was me.
Well, fair.
I wish it was Hero who had said it. Last I checked, you can't take a hit. And she makes a sweeping scythe gesture. You're like, you bitch. How dare you have backstory with me? No, Elenia was there when she got bugbeared.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
You know. Everyone knows.
Unfortunately.
Hilarious. So road or the hero mode? Just straight up climbing up a mountain.
Guess we're climbing up a mountain.
Both work.
Okay. If that's the case, go ahead and give me as a group, each one of you roll a survival check. I will roll for Saphira, as she is a part of the group, and of course I will be rolling for Elenia as well. Who, bear with me. Okay, perfect.
David.
I've never lived in nature one day in my life.
You're a city bear.
As we all know, I'm a city slicker, lived a pampered life, very posh in everything I do.
You just pretend to be a bear. You're actually just a baron.
I haven't gotten to style my fur in weeks, and it's atrocious.
Alright, well, luckily, Alenia is awesome. I need a survival check from
No.
Stephanie.
Ayana.
Okay. So your efforts in trying to find a easily maneuverable pass up and through the woods is detrimental. Your group is not very confident at this process. It's kind of like you're trying to find a passageway and continually kind of wander and wander and wander and wander. So what would have probably in your minds taken, the better part of an hour or two, is now taking upwards of 3 hours, and we're getting later into the evening time. Alenia says, "This is a mistake. He's going to be at his most powerful in the dark." And as she says that, everybody witnesses a bright red streak coming from the highest points of the castle, moving towards Strafania. You're pretty sure with your current maneuvering status, you're probably visible from on high, but it doesn't look like the horse or the rider are looking in this direction, as you've kind of maneuvered from what you were anticipating to be like straight up this way to instead kind of going this way on the outside. You haven't really made a way up. But yeah, that said, it's getting close to nightfall. If you want to, you can make a straight trek to the keep. It would take you about an hour or so, and it would be full into evening at that point. Or you can rest outside.
I'll heed. I vote to heed Alenia's warning that he's stronger at night
Okay. If we're
and make for a day assault.
If we're resting, Saphira suggests preparing a means of kind of hiding in the woods, and she's going to go ahead and make a nature check to assist in that matter. And if you are all kind of sleeping, give me a d20 roll for the night, and we'll see if anything random happens to you while you're in the woods. Roll me a d100.
Thanks, David.
Let's go, guys.
We got this.
I know 5. 5 is the best number. A lot of gold.
What'd you get?
5.
5. Oh, okay.
Oh god.
Ah.
You did.
As you're kind of watching, let's see. I'm assuming that Saphira would have been unconscious. Aveline can kind of do a rest mode and still kind of be effectively paying attention. So then I'm going to 1, 2, 3, 4.
I declare them more. Sorry.
So Aveline, as you're kind of rebooting, kind of coming back online, and whoever was kind of going to sleep from their rest kind of beds down, as you kind of take a kind of meander around the area, you see something that the others that have been taking watches must have missed. There appears to be some sort of structure up on the cliffside near where you're at. It's not a very high cliff, maybe 40 or so feet high, but about 20 or so feet up, there's kind of like a landing, and it looks like there's something kind of built there. You're not sure what it is, but it's not very big. Do you want to go up and check it out, or?
Can I try? I want to discern a little bit, maybe more what it is, examine it a little bit more before I go up to it.
Okay. Based on where you're at, it looks like some sort of stone structure, not too dissimilar from like a statue or possibly like a grave, more ornate grave.
I'll go check it out.
Okay. As you kind of make your way up there, you note kind of climbing up. It's not too hard. There's kind of like an old beaten path, but it looks like the wind has kind of blown it out enough that you're kind of pressing yourself against the wall as you're making your way up. But when you get up to this landing, you can see that there's one larger kind of grave, and then there are 4 smaller ones. And the smaller ones are kind of built in like a semicircle, based on where the bodies would have to lay on this kind of balcony of stone. You think that they might have been buried feet first, so like they're standing in the ground, which you think might have been an older tradition. The 4 names that are written on the gravestones seem to have been kind of blasted away by the wind. But the nature of the bigger marker is that it looks like there was a placard of steel that's been placed on it, and it's rusted, but it's still legible. And it states, "Here lies the artist whose hands resisted him every day of his life in his goal of perfection." And beneath that moniker, it states the name Lamdrick Samaldrick. And I will post that in the chat.
Does that ring a bell?
You can make a history check if you'd like. Yeah, Lamdrick is with a 27, natural 20. Yeah, you would know that Lamdrick Samaldrick is from the far eastern lands, a province or kingdom known as Parnak. Lamdrick was an artificer, a crafter, and was responsible for the first invention. And when I say first invention, I'll explain what that means in a second. With that history check, you would know for sure the first invention of guns. He was also the responsible party for the third invention of the automaton, or the undaunted. So he's a pretty renowned inventor historically. What I mean by first invention and third invention is guns were invented, outlawed, banned, put to rests, and then later on were reinvented after they'd been forgotten. When I say third, I mean for Undaunted, there are historically a number of different generations of the concept of a living construct. The first being when the elves created the soldiers that fought undyingly, known as the Undying Soldiers, or the Thethos. They were warriors who were killed, and their souls were basically given their armor to continue on. The second creation of the Undaunted, and those ones are more traditionally known as Warforged. The second creation of Undaunted was dwarves in a city known as Digram. Were basically able to create life by using the parts of a living person after death and making it live again, but biomechanically. These constructs aren't familiar to you and aren't something that's passed this way. It's kind of seen as kind of a revulsion of how it's supposed to work. And then the third creation of Undaunted is more what you are, where the stuff of life, the vitae, is basically put to a person so that they can live anew, but not the same life. They can basically continue to serve, or they can do something entirely different with their new body.
Well, this is an important person to me, so I'd like to pay my respects, put some flowers on his grave.
Okay. And if you'd like, you can go ahead and make an investigation check. Okay. Yeah, the grave seems pretty unremarkable, but you do know that a feat of creative genius had to have been employed, because the weight of this and the weight of the bodies and such on this kind of stone balcony, you would have presumed would have caused the entire structure to fall out. It's just kind of supernaturally hanging off the side of this cliff. But yeah, that said, you head back down and continue your watch. Nothing happens uneventful. Sunlight casts through the mists. You, in the night, did not see a flaming horse flying back towards the castle. I knew that would be a question. But yeah, the presumption is he is out in the field, presumably still in Strafania, if anywhere. You continue moving towards the castle, I presume? Unless running away was your plan, but... to the castle it is! Okay.
Sen's original plan, we could just leave.
Let's see. So, coming at it from the front end... Let's see. Sorry, bear with me here. Coming at it from the front end, it is a very impressive and also very intimidating castle, to be sure. Bear with me here. My handout was broken. I'm just trying to fix it fast and stall in the fixing process while I talk.
I was gonna just walk here. What is fine?
Alright, that's still loading. Oh my goodness. Do the thing! Oh man, I'm getting the lags.
Happening a lot.
There it goes.
Yay.
So it's pretty intimidating, to be sure. Yeah, you can see that it is a very massive structure. It does look like from your position, as you're kind of approaching it, you would be required to kind of come up to it at one very specific point, and that would be the bridge that crosses over to it. Unless you want to climb, but they are very steep rocks around it, towering some 100 or so feet up above the rest of the hill and mountain that you're upon.
Just go across the bridge, right? A little sneaky sneak.
Yeah, certainly. Okay, so as you kind of start making your way across the bridge, Elenia kind of falls towards the back. Is it more of a scout out front and everyone kind of behind them? Or is it more of a vanguard a la bear and lizard up to the front, ready to brawl if brawling is required? Or, for a change of pace, do you want to just shove the shield guardian into the front with all of the things that they're carrying and just hide behind it?
Ooh, walk in and just give the door a lock.
Go scout in front.
So, who's up front?
Then we'll go in front.
Okay.
What?
It's Aveline goes. If you're stealthing ahead, go ahead and make a stealth check. What you will note is it does look like the drawbridge is, the bridge is not barred. What I mean by that is there's a gatehouse and then there's the interior walls gatehouse. You'd assume massive portcullis or portculli would, if that's a plural portcullises, would be down and barring you from entering. It appears that the gates are up. But what'd you get on your stealth check?
I got a 4. Or was it Sen?
Oh, Sen was the one in the lead.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got a 12.
Okay.
Much better.
So what you notice most about this part of the area is from the outside, it doesn't look like it's too terribly misty in comparison with everywhere else that you've been. But you can see that it looks like the grounds themselves are kind of swelling with mists inside of the castle. And the castle walls. The curtain wall seems to basically kind of hold it in there. And as you kind of enter in, you can see that to your left there is kind of a small gate or guard door on the frontmost kind of tower there, and the same would be true on the right side. It looks like directly ahead there's the castle's direct wall, which is looming over the curtain wall, and a door kind of set out in front of you with a number of lanterns kind of burning along the sides of it, kind of illuminating this kind of alcove where the door resides. It, too, appears to be ajar.
So we could just slip on in. Technically. Are there guards watching?
There are no other moving entities besides you and yours.
Great. So, we ready to go in, guys?
Yes.
Now or never.
Alright, let's slip through this crack in the door.
Okay. Sorry, bear with me here. Sometimes it doesn't do the thing I want it to. Most of the time it doesn't do the thing I want it to. All right. So, as you enter in, bear with me here.
So many bears.
Bear, 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 bear. I see my problem. The door, slightly opened. You can see that it enters into kind of a area which would be considered kind of like a defensive position, and the doors on the opposite side of it are not open. The room has a couple of distinct features, namely there are some holes in the ceiling, which would be known as murder holes to the lay folk, and for some reason this is being really laggy. All of a sudden. All of a sudden. I'm trying to just get you all on the map here.
It's alright.
Okay, let's see if this works.
Oh yeah. That's
There we
pretty
go.
Let me make sure everyone can see.
Nope.
Let me, Hero, you have your candle hat on.
Yep.
So is it just on the crown then, or in the crown?
Yeah, just on the crown.
Right, you have that crown now.
What's wrong with my crown?
Nothing.
Okay, so can everyone see now?
No. It might be lagging on my end too, though. I don't know.
Okay.
I
It's all
also
black. I see Nodder, and that's it.
see me. Oh, I do see me.
A shift ping to the group. It should snap you to where we're located.
It
Yeah, I'm
snaps
just gonna
me, but I
black
just see Nodder.
square
You just see Nodder.
In a nothing.
in
The
black.
true
Darkness. Darkness
villain.
surrounds us.
the true villain of the world is my all-encompassing ego. Be enveloped in Nodder's need to be the center of it.
How about now?
No.
Maybe refresh.
Are you in a small little square chamber? Or is it
No.
just tokens?
It's,
Only my token.
It's just blackness. Okay, so there's a.
Hold
if
on.
I zoom out, there is the nothingness, and then there's a black square,
And then my token
over
inside it.
on, like, if you like split. Oh, I see it.
Thank
Oh,
God.
I saw it. It popped in.
A miracle. I see everyone now.
Great.
I can see clearly now.
The void is.
So,
Hey.
They're
She
updating.
knows the song.
Oh.
Sorry.
Is Copper with us?
Oh, sorry. Let me get him on the board. I knew I was forgetting something. Such a struggle. I figured out what it was. So they're doing new things with the dynamic lighting for Roll20, and I'm a curmudgeonly old man, so I've gotten used to the way that the lighting works the other way, and I have not taken the appropriate amount of time to get used to how it's going to work.
Old man yells at Cloud.
That's literally what I was just doing for, like, in my head. Now I just gotta find out where I shoved this shield guardian.
In a magical place.
Whoa.
He is
Wow,
now-
there he is.
Still in that cellar.
He's the mascot,
Yeah, still in that cellar.
mascot of our party.
Alright, so yeah, he's definitely made the stealthing situation a lot harder, by the way. I just want to make sure that is clear. But it hasn't mattered, because it seems like the entryway up into this point has been fine.
It's like he was expecting us. But also he's not here because maybe he was expecting us. So maybe we could have just taken that carriage ride because he was
Yeah.
expecting us.
In retrospect.
Yeah, but now we're here and we are able to set up our own ambush.
This door doesn't seem to be open. If you wish to open it, yeah, it does look like it's not locked or barred. But moving in quietly, you do hear something kind of stirring above you. And then you hear kind of sounds coming from above.
Somebody's hungry. Clanky Anky. Can I hear anything on the other side of the door though?
Quiet.
Just above. Okay.
Yeah, very thick doors, by the way, as well. So
Ah, so probably couldn't tell anyways.
yeah, there would, but yeah.
Okay. Shall we go in?
If so,
Yes.
you-
Can I do something real quick?
yeah. What's that?
Can I chop the bottom of my hand axe into a little steak?
Sure.
Fair.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay.
I'm good. I'm ready.
All right. You push the door open. The double doors open, and on the opposite side of the room you're entering in, you see another set of doors. To the left, you see a massive staircase that seems to ascend upwards. 4 massive pillars stand holding up the high ceiling in this room. It looks like there is painting of a massive red dragon above you. You would recognize this dragon hero as Ashmedea, the war queen of the serpent. and it looks like it is very ornately done, this design, and very well kept. There are also hanging on the walls, kind of around where the dome begins, statues, gargoyle statues, that are kind of perched on small little perches. They look like they have draconic wings and kind of dragonborn faces, and massive muscular bodies. Not unlike heroes, but bigger and stronger than hero.
Saying here was weak.
No, I didn't say it. But yeah, it looks like there's a pathway southwards, pathway northwards, and it looks like this place is well lit by glowing candelabra, similar to the ones that were outside.
I want to check south.
Fancy.
Okay.
South. Okay.
All right. If you head south, you will note
Count on me.
that there is another
Zoom.
set of double doors, and it looks like a passageway to the side that leads to a stairwell. The stairwell goes up and down. Let me double check that. Yep, goes up and down. And there's a suit of armor in an alcove on the southern side. The suit of armor matches pretty closely to the description of the armor, and also to any icons you've seen, the armor that was worn by Sergei Torinor, Gulthias' brother.
I check it out.
It's a pretty nice set of full plate armor.
It looks
I'll steal something else from him.
It's got like a coif, the heraldry up there, and a massive kind of like red feathering, kind of just woof. Oh my goodness!
A naughty.
He's naughty.
I take
He's fine.
The
I'll
helmet.
come steal him because he's so naughty.
You're gonna have him.
He wanted to go home with me, and he wouldn't let me.
Oh yeah. Well, what's funny is you came over and he was being great, and ever since you've left, he's been a thugging asshole.
Because
Yep.
he realized how great Stephanie is.
He wanted to come home with Auntie Stephanie.
You spoiled him in like 5 minutes.
That's fair. Okay, so like I said, doorway, stairwell, that.
Helmet. Can I take?
Yeah.
Take...
I'm interested in that door
You-
behind
Okay.
the otter.
You pull the helmet off, and you note that inside of the helmet there is a skull, still attached to the spine of the wearer, and it kind of lingers there, staring at you, socketless, eyeless. Appears to be a human's body, or bones rather.
Normal teeth?
Yeah.
Sergey, that you, bro?
It me. I
Imagine if it just said that. Ah!
I died.
It appears
Can I roll to have a heart attack or not? No.
The torchlight kind of flutters a bit, and you kind of hear what sounds like an organ blast come from beyond those two doors as you kind of get close to it. It doesn't sound like a struck note. It just seems like something kind of accident. Like, it doesn't seem like someone actually played a note. It seems like someone accidentally put something or played something
It
on
was
the.
a cat.
Yeah, but do you open the doors?
One
And
way to find out
head through.
if it was a cat or not.
All right. So if you head in, speaking of cats,
Pet that cat.
I'm gonna fight him. He's being way too play right now. But yeah, inside you see the following. Three enormous crystal chandeliers brilliantly illuminate this magnificent chamber. Pillars of stone stand against dull white marble walls, supporting the ceiling. In the center of the room, a long, heavy table is covered with fine white satin cloth. The table is laden with many delectable foods: roasted beast basted in savory sauce, roots and herbs of every taste, and sweet fruits and vegetables. Um, Places are set for each of you, it appears. Um, and looks like there's fine china, um, very delicate looking, very ornate, and also silver set to its placing. For what you can tell, Aveline, perfectly placed. It looks like someone who is very tidy has set this place. At each place, there's also a crystal goblet, which is filled with an amber liquid with kind of a fragrance of its own. At the center of the far west wall, between floor to ceiling mirrors, stands a massive organ. Its pipes blare out a thunderous melody as you kind of stand there. It seems to just strike a chord at random as you kind of step in, and it kind of lingers to kind of a and then as you kind of look around, you see a figure kind of manifest in the chair, kind of sitting there, but like transparently so. You then watch this figure, Kate, wearing a crown made out of brambles, play another note. Again, it doesn't seem like it's doing so to kind of present any kind of song or anything. It just seems to be playing a note on occasion. But yeah, the figure then stops and turns and faces you. It is like a transparent, ghostial version of Gulthias.
Is he like astral projecting or something?
You can make an Arcana check. Seems to be an illusion spell. Probably something permanently done to act here. Some sort of illusion that's capable of manipulating things. It's probably not physically competent or a threat combatively, but
Just an image.
yeah, he turns and looks at you and says, "Ah, Alenia de Alcir, you've arrived. Please sit. I will be with you shortly."
It's an automated message.
Yeah. And even though the NPCs and the Shield Guardian and everything didn't actually make their ways down this way.
Oopsie.
He
didn't know. They apparently didn't
Well.
see me.
Sen, make a perception check.
Aw. Good thing I'm good at perceiving things.
Alright, I'm gonna give you two things. First off, when you were walking through the hall with the Shield Guardian and everyone wasn't really paying attention, you would have noted that the gargoyles actually moved and were kind of focusing in on the Shield Guardian. It doesn't seem that they have moved to attack or anything, but it seems that those gargoyles are very similar to a children's cartoon show I watched as a youth.
I love that show.
They are gargoyles, and Jonathan Frakes is probably among them. But yeah, you entered into this dining room, and you will note that there appear to be scratch marks on the floor near the base of the organ, which leads you to presume that it can be moved or has been moved, and there might be something behind it.
I wonder if you play a certain thing on there that.
Yeah.
The
Maybe a note.
spectral version of Gulthias kind of moves, pulls back the master chair, and sits into it. And seems to be kind of lingering there. If anyone looks like they're addressing him, or kind of looks at him for long, he says, yes, can I help you?
This is freaking me out.
Hey.
Hey, it's Gulthias.
What?
So,
Oops. I said I don't know what to say, but is
Oh.
Gulthias actually here? I'll ask him that.
I have not returned. I am afield. What's that?
Where did you leave to?
Oh, I don't know. I just know I'm not within the castle. You are the bear, right?
Do you have my route?
I am just an image. I have nothing.
Do you
Except
know
for
where my route is?
information.
If it's not within the castle, I do not. I'm sorry. As you're kind of sitting there talking to him, the smell of the food is just sitting there in your face. Like, oh damn, that's real.
It does smell good.
That is a real thing that's happening right there.
Looking to wine and dine us.
Do you know if that organ has moved recently?
Not recently, no.
Can it move now?
I'm not at liberty to say.
That means yes.
That means, yeah, that always means yes.
You would say no if it was no.
As it kind of
Phantom of the Opera shit.
finally lingers there, and kind of looks to you all, it then vanishes.
I want to go up to the organ and just kind of press some random keys.
I would assume that.
Honk, honk, honk. Roll a D100.
Megalovania, but it's on an organ.
Megalovania. Oh, gain inspiration. Oh, don't do it. I might get whatever happens to people when they do that. After hitting some buttons for a fashion, you kind of press a couple of them in an accidental but specific pattern. And the organ slides aside. Now, again, use your imagination. The back wall will disappear, but the organ will remain in its current position.
Fancy.
It kind of slides off to the right.
It's raised up, that's why it's still in the
I'll look.
frame.
I want to look in here.
All right.
Let's have a sneaky peeky.
Entering in, you can see that the courtyard is visible through arrow slits in the north and west walls. Leaning against the walls are mirrors of various sizes, some as tall as a human, and others small enough to fit in a backpack. That's what you see. It does look like there is a passageway to the south that leads to a different section inside the interior walls of the castle. This place is very strange. With all the mirrors, you're literally just looking at reflections of yourselves.
Are they really mirrors?
Yeah.
First time I've seen myself in a while.
Don't you think of...
Naughty.
They're
A
gonna...
naughty.
I want attention.
Don't you dare do it!
Oh no.
I've got miniatures on my table for the weekend, and he was just trying to knock one of them off, and it's like a $40 one. And
No. A bad cat.
unacceptable. There's a pass to the south there, and the mirrors. The mirrors are kind of weird.
Yeah.
I'm like looking at the crack on one side of my face, like kind of examining, like crouched down.
Nodder, do you light a torch?
Oh,
I
I got
haven't
one.
ever burning one. I should.
I
at
will.
Okay,
least.
then you pass it over to Nodder.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get you light. Hold on.
It's like, I can't see anything.
Guess we just go move. Night vision.
I should have drinking the honey.
Should have.
No.
One of them just gives. One of them just gives me
That
black
was
fur.
one of the rules. No honey.
So, from what you can tell, this room here to your right when you entered in is a high domed ceiling. It caps a 30-foot wide octagonal room before you. Frescoes faded with age adorn the ceiling. Not too similar stylistically to the massive red dragon in the main hall, but obviously whatever they were depicting is kind of faded and blurred. It looks like there were people engaging in some sort of activity, but again, faded and hardly discernible. There are tall, thin arrow slits that look out over the courtyard. From this vantage point, you would actually be able to see that to the southwest, you can see the black carriage. It's kind of sitting there, lingering. No horses mounted to it. It looks like it's kind of it. You won't be able to see it on the map for sure, but again, use your imagination. It does look like that's present. But yeah, the other passway, it's obstructed with cobwebs. It doesn't look like anyone's ever been down there before in their lives. It is completely.
Starts today.
It is completely like just. Oh yeah, it's the Last Crusade levels. Like you're pulling it off.
She loves probably back there.
I'm assuming like these slits in the walls aren't enough to let like real light in.
Right.
And create like a laser show off these mirrors.
Correct.
Wait, you're going down this hallway?
Yeah.
Ah,
Okay, if you're going through, it's
we're gonna get eaten by a spider.
like I said, you are literally pulling old, dusty cobwebs off of the walls and pulling through the middle. The bear is literally just being kind of covered up with the webs, yeah, it's bad. But at the end of the hall, you can see that there is a staircase that seems to lead down and up.
Well, there's more.
But wait, there's more. We go down.
You want to go
Up.
down or
I
up?
want to go back.
That's up to you.
I want to go down.
Heyo.
Okay.
So Nodder is intent on descending, although, yeah, that again, if anyone wants to interject, perfectly fine.
It's a hidden room. I want to explore.
What you'll note is that, and I haven't got it actually markered here, but Alenia and Saphira are both glowing a lot. Alenia from the femur that she's holding, and Saphira from the raven symbol that she got last session. Those seem to light up.
There's something here.
But yeah, well, they not just then. I mean to say they should have been ignited a while ago. I just forgot it. And what better time to remember as we're getting down to the close of the session? But yeah, is that the goal? You want to go down the steps?
I suppose.
I feel like it's just gonna go down to the. Oh, never mind.
Depths of
Or do you
hell.
want to go up the steps?
Also want to go up the steps.
Yeah, if you're
I
looking
didn't want to go anywhere, but
if you're looking for somewhere to go to find Gulthias, it's not going to be. I mean, well,
it's gonna come to us.
you would think it wouldn't be in the basement though,
He might
or
have some wine down
maybe
there.
that's where he's got his coffin and he's deep in the earth. Who knows?
He's sleeping. He taking a nap.
Down or up,
It's got to be hidden for something. I want to go down first.
or back the way you came.
I'm down.
Okay, we're going.
One vote for
Down.
down. 2 votes for down. 3 votes for down. Elizabeth?
Yeah, sure.
If that's the case,
Growing timber, yay!
you just start to descend down the steps, and since we're right near on 9, I'll go ahead and say that's a good stopping point for us. Next session, we'll pick up with you descending the steps into Castle Torinor.
The Great Descent.
Thanks for watching. I appreciate
Yay.
the subscribe. And
Cool.
yeah, we'll pick up again Tuesday, 7 p.m. All right. And hopefully you don't get murdered by a vampire.
Probably will.
The odds are in our favor.
Well, we'll see what
He
happens.
has all of his weaknesses at his side.
We'll see what happens. All right. Thanks. And there goes the stream.